Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christian. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, good day. Wherever you are, whenever you're seeing this, I hope you are good. So guys, today we're going to be talking about spiritual relationships in romance and in friendship and maybe just in general, because whenever you want to, and what I mean by this is I've had a couple of people ask me just literally over, the last couple of years that I've been doing, YouTube, literally the last how long has it been since 2017? 8 years. It'll be my 8th year on YouTube this year. And I've always had people asked about spiritual relationships. And I never really knew how to address the topic because, spiritual relationships, okay, what can you say? But I feel like there's a lot to say about spiritual relationships and just how we should approach relationships when we want them to serve us spiritually. So that's what it's going to be about, because every relationship technically is a spiritual relationship because we're spirit energy connecting with someone else's spirit energy, of course. But there are certain things to do in relationships that will make us serve us more spiritually. So this video is more so going to be about how to make your relationships serve you more spiritually and how you'll be able to see that and how you feel about your relationships, how you feel about yourself, and of course, how the people on the receiving end of that relationship is going to be treating you. As always, you guys can look down below in the description box to book sessions with me. Follow me on all of my Instagrams and stay up to date with everything that I have going on. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the video. So first things first, and I don't have a list for this video, so I'm just going to be all over the place. This is going to be a chit chat conversation. So I hope you guys are ready. But, I think the first thing to remember is that when you want your relationships to serve you spiritually, they will probably not really serve you physically that much. And the reason is because, or practically, should I say rather, is because the things that serve us spiritually don't always serve us practically. So, things that serve us practically are things that feel good to us, things that make us happy, things that make us, just feel good in our physical. But things that serve us spiritually, the goal is more so growth, understanding, wisdom, knowledge, bettering ourselves, because I don't really know if there's a such thing as our spirit being good or bad, because even when your spirit is sensing that something isn't right, it's so you can make an adjustment. The spirit isn't really about what's good and what's bad and what feels comfortable and what feels uncomfortable, what makes our spirit happy or sad. Our spirit just is. And the beautiful thing about your spirit is that your spirit energy is not changed, tainted. Your spirit is your spirit, even if you're having a good day or a bad day, even if it's bad spirit energy or good spirit energy or whatever, it's you. It's yours. It's not like we can have a bad spirit. Like, let's say, for example, if somebody has bad legs, they cannot walk. If somebody has a bad spirit or they are feeling bad in their spirit, it doesn't hold them back in any sense practically. We know a lot of people that are very, very ill spiritually, and they go on to do a lot of things great practically. They're able to manage a lot practically, but spiritually they have a lot going on with them. So I only said that to say, I said all of that to say that feeling good or bad does not always, indicate directly, okay, I'm feeling good or bad spiritually, so this means this is good or bad for me physically. And that's what we need to remember, because when you want relationships that serve you spiritually, those relationships are going to challenge you. They're going to make you look at yourself and ask yourself, who are you? Like, how much have you been relying on this person? How much have you let this person change you? How much has this relationship gotten you further and further away from yourself? Relationships that serve you spiritually, it's a completely different type of connection, because it's not just about having good times and good fun. It's about, who is going to be able to be a teacher to me while I'm in this life? Who's going to be able to school me? Who's going to be able to be my voice of reason when I can't be that voice of reason for myself? And also, am I ready to be someone's voice of reason? Can I recognize when I'm not the best friend for somebody, or am I just going to take it personally and make it all about me and, blow up? Will I be able to realize when it's time for me to move on? Because relationships that are supposed to benefit you spiritually, all of them won't be in your life forever. Most breakups that we deal with benefited us spiritually, but it was a terrible breakup. So it's important to know that once you want your relationships, a more spiritual connection in your relationships, you could kind of, in some situations, you'll be breezing through what you're supposed to learn with that person. So maybe if something was supposed to take 5 years for you both to learn, it'll take a year. because you're showing up and you're being intentional and you're listening to the little signs and you're not letting anything, be swept under the rug. When you want to take a spiritual approach to your relationships, it means being present spiritually, even when your physical doesn't want to speak up. It means always looking for a spiritual aspect, always looking to see what's behind the curtain. Like, yes, this is what I'm experiencing in this friendship, but why? And not just because I'm feeling this and they're feeling this. What is this supposed to teach me? And who is my friend? How can they learn from this too? Because it's not just about me learning something, it's about them learning something as well. So how can I learn, and what are they supposed to learn? Like, how did myself and my friend get to a point where now we're on opposite ends of our own inner battles, and there's something that we're supposed to be doing together that's going to help us get through our battles, our individual battles, a little bit easier. It's going to help us know a little bit more about how we need to fight the fight that we're fighting ourselves. A spiritual relationship says, this isn't about me. This is about how I can serve you. Because how I serve my friend tells me about myself. If I let a friend walk all over me, talk over me, backstab me, disrespect me, treat me like nothing, and I'm begging and begging and begging for their love, I'm begging for their attention, I want them to see me, I want them to acknowledge me, that says more about me than it does about them. And remember, when we talk about spiritual should be like synonymous with me. Saying, I want a more spiritual relationship. You want more you in your relationships. You want to look at yourself more. Asking for more spirit is asking for more reflection. It's asking to be in front of yourself more. So be prepared to come across every twin flame in the book. Okay, and we can get into a whole thing about twin flames, but when you're looking for spiritual relationships, you're going to feel like everybody is your twin flame, and to be honest, you can turn every relationship into, well, let me not even say that because I don't want to, trick nobody's mind, but the significance of a twin flame relationship where you're connecting with someone that's reflecting the worst parts of you, and sometimes some of the best parts of you, but the worst parts of you, the deepest parts of you, the most challenging parts of you, they're reflecting those things back to you. And you have the chance to see yourself in a different light, see yourself from a different perspective, be on the receiving end of your own villain era manifested in somebody else, be on the receiving end of your anger, your rage, your frustration, your trust issues, your communication issues manifested in somebody else. When you are seeking a more spiritual connection in all of your relationships, all of them have the potential to show you what that twin flame showed you. Because even if someone isn't your twin spirit energy, you've just said, even if I don't feel like I'm just like this person, I'm going to dig so deep into this challenge or into this obstacle or into this crossroads that we're having, that I'm going to see myself in them. I'm going to push myself to see myself in someone, even if that isn't really what it is, because everybody isn't your twin flame, obviously. But, it is important to push yourself to act as if, everyone that you are in contact with is reflecting back to you. And we know that's true anyway. But taking a spiritual approach to your relationships means being on point with that 110%. It means every time you feel a little something, or even when you meet somebody and it's a great, in interaction, it's always about reflecting back and saying, okay, why was this so great? Did myself and this person just talk shit about everybody and I need somebody else to talk shit with? So this relationship served me practically because I get to gossip and deflect my frustration from my own life on somebody else with a friend who wants to do the same thing as me. But is it serving me spiritually? No, it is not. The relationship that might serve you spiritually might be the most challenging relationship you had. A relationship that served me a lot spiritually is a relationship I no longer have in my life. But this relationship, it served me a lot spiritually because I run a tight ship as a friend. And I was in a friendship with someone, a relationship with someone, a friendship with them, where if I told them something about their situation or what they were dealing with, or even if I gave them advice, if it was anything that they didn't want to hear, they would shut me out and they would stop talking to me about that certain situation. And then I would hear about it months later, sometimes years later. And I'd be like, what? You were going through this, you were going through this, you were going through this, you were going through that. And they made me feel like my friend doesn't feel like I'm a friend because of the advice I give them. So I'm not going to give them any advice. I'm just going to accept them as they are, and I'm not going to say anything about anything. I'm never going to tell them that it's wrong. If it's wrong, I don't care how wrong it is. I'm not going to tell them that because I want this friend so bad. I'm going to sit by and let them do whatever they want, because if I tell them something, they're going to think I'm a bully. They're going to think I'm mean. They're going to think I'm just trying to boss them around. And as who I am, as a psychic, you can imagine how difficult it is to be friends with people, with women, because women are so delusional and crazy. Women are always like, oh, this is the person of my dreams, or the friend of my dreams, or the job of my dreams, or this is who I'm going to marry, or what have you. So when you're a friend with a lot of intuition and you have young women around you, or even just, like I said, I'm saying a lot of intuition, but I'm psychic, y'all already know. So I connect with a lot of people. I've connected with a lot of people where I've just had to be like, okay, because I know that you ain't going to marry this person. I know that it's not going to be what you think. I know it's not going to be that. And let me not say it's hard to be friends with women, because women are delusional. People are delusional. I am delusional. As a person, we always think that a situation is going to be like, oh, this is going to give me A, B, C, and D. But when you have a clear picture, like, girl, it's actually not going to give you anything. It's actually not going to be any of that. It's actually just supposed to show you and teach you and this and this and this. It's kind of like if you have somebody in your life that, keeps taking jobs, and the job promises them all of this stuff, and they keep getting let down by the job, and they keep getting tricked by the jobs over and over and over again. They keep falling for the same ruse. That is kind of how it is when you're connecting sometimes in relationships where you're intuitive. So I'm hyper aware to make sure I'm not trying to tell people how to live their lives, because baby, we could do that all day. If you say, you know what, I actually would like you to tell me how to do everything, we could do that. You got a pen and paper? We could do that. But if my friend doesn't ask me for advice, I don't give it. If people don't ask me to chime in, I don't. I just receive and I go about my business. So this person, this ex-friend, definitely triggered me, because I did not want them to think I was being a bad friend. I didn't want them to think I was overstepping my boundaries, because I'm so conscious about that anyway. So them, thinking that about me just made me more insecure about that. And it made me be like, you know what? I'm going to be the best friend to this person, and I'm never going to say anything about any of the things that they do. And this friend was, just fucking crazy. This person was always doing some terrible ass stuff to put themselves in a fucked up ass position. And, just making themselves feel like shit because of the terrible situations they were putting themselves in. And of course, we're not friends anymore. And the last few conversations we had, I was begging for this person to just see me as who I was. I was begging them to, like, I did this because of this. I said this because of this. I said this because of this. Like, I would never mean this. I would never mean this. I would never say it because of this. I would never, I was fighting to get this person to understand me and see me and recognize me. And even my best friends were like, bitch, you let this motherfucker get away with murder. You don't let nobody else play with you like this. So I had a sore spot for this person. I had a soft spot for this person. And I just wanted them in my life. I wanted them in my life, and I didn't want them to think that I was kicking them out of my life because they didn't listen to me. I didn't want them to think that we couldn't be friends anymore because they didn't do what I wanted them to do, or because they kept making certain decisions. The real reason we couldn't be friends anymore is because this person didn't know me for who I was. They could only see me based off of their projections of me. And because of that, I had to walk away from that friendship. And that friendship served me greatly spiritually, because after that, I had connected with a couple of people that I met, and I could already see, like, hell to the no. I already know what you want, and I already know I'm not trying to go back down that path. I already know what you're looking for. And I told myself, I don't want to be another friend's mother. I don't want to be another friend's therapist. I don't want to be another friend's, I want to tell you what you should be doing, but I don't know, because I don't want you to. I am not going to battle with myself about the type of friend I am to try to prove to somebody else that I'm not that type of person. I'm this type of person. I'm not doing that. But because I'm a Leo, and because I'm driven by ego in certain spaces, and I'm not perfect, I needed to walk away from that and say, you know what? If this person thinks I'm bad and a sucky friend, then that's okay. I don't have to protect my name or protect my friend reputation or how I am as a friend. I don't have to die on that hill, because it's not doing anything for me. And the real lesson here is that it's okay to walk away even when I'm trying so hard. And even when me trying hard is literally turning me into a different person. I don't even know who I am anymore as a friend to you, because I've let myself become a completely different friend just to try to serve your needs. when I should have just walked away. So if I would have been thinking with my spirit, I would have walked away early on, instead of just trying to listen to my ego that says, but if you walk away, you're going to prove her right and you're not going to be a good friend. So let me stay with you and show you that I love you and show you that I care. And sometimes the reason I'm saying this is because sometimes we think that that is what a spiritual relationship looks like. No, a spiritual relationship does not mean you stay as long as you can and you do whatever you can to try to prove this person that you're really there for them, that you really love them. It doesn't mean that you are willing to die on this hill and just be just destroyed time and time again. That is not what that means. That's not what that means. Connecting spiritually or taking a spiritual approach is more about, okay, if there's something happening here, what does it mean for me? Because it's not about them. It's about what it means for me. So it's less about, oh, my friend thinks that I'm not a good friend. Let me see what I can do to be a better friend. It's more about, my friend thinks I'm not a good friend. I'm reflecting on my actions and I feel like I'm being a good friend. What can I do to be a better friend to this person? Can I ever be the friend that this person needs me to be? And if I can't, can I walk away knowing that I'm still a good friend even though I can't be a friend to this person? Can I walk away knowing that, yes, I want to be this person's friend, but I don't have what they're looking for? Taking a spiritual approach to relationships really means walking away 99% of the time, because the soulmates that we come across are far and few between, and we come across these people because, we have just kind of hit the jackpot, A lot of spiritual interaction and letting go and releasing and healing is necessary before we're able to make those connections with our soulmates, our soul family. So a lot of the spiritual connections that we have is going to be about realizing something, learning a hard lesson, and you go your way and I go my way. Most of the spiritual connections that we come across are like that because spirit is all about transformation and growth. So when you're in these connections and you want them to serve you more spiritually, always look to yourself and turn the mirror on yourself in every happy moment, in every sad moment, in every moment of miscommunication. Always turn the mirror on yourself and ask yourself, what is this person trying to show you? How can you see more about who you are and what you need to work on and change through this person? And it doesn't mean that you're bad or good. It doesn't mean that they're bad or good. It just means that it's always about us and that there's always something for you to learn and there's a lesson for you to learn. And that lesson, even though it may mean that you split ways with that person, that was a job well done. That was a good job. That was a job well done. And a lot of times we feel like, oh, I want more spiritual relationships. And that means I want more people that are going to be in my life forever. I want more soulmates. I want more people that I don't have to leave behind. And that does not equate to a spiritual connection. Sometimes a spiritual connection means, a 10-year spiritual contract with somebody. Some spiritual connections are just so you can get your heart broken and find the next person, just so you can have a certain child and find the next person, just so you can lose everything and build it back up again. And that sucks. But that's why I'm making this video for y'all, because I know a lot of people are manifesting connections that serve them spiritually, and when people say, do you serve my greatest good? I don't want anything that doesn't serve my greatest good. If it doesn't serve my highest good, then I don't want it anymore. And that's kind of like a buzz, not a buzzword, a buzz phrase in the spiritual community. Like, do you serve my highest and greatest good? Your highest and greatest good may be to get played like a fool. So you stop, not trusting your own judgment. Your highest and greatest good might be getting disrespected so bad one time that you never allow it to happen again, and you change a generational curse in your family of verbally abusive relationships. Your highest and greatest good does not always look like accepting the light from the universe and just being, packaged in bubble wrap and having your emotions being protected. Sometimes your highest and greatest good is for you to be broken down so you can be transformed into whoever you're supposed to be, after that moment. So the overall point is that, be careful what you ask for and be prepared for it. Be ready to meditate, be ready to write and release a lot, be ready to do a lot of mirror work, be ready to have a lot of real conversations, and be ready to meet people where they are. And understand that, spiritual, it means me, but it also means selfless. So how can something mean me, but it also means selfless? I hope this makes sense. But, you know, we are everything and nothing at the same time. So that's why in our spiritual journey, we have to, of course, put ourselves first for, you know, our boundaries and self-love and releasing anxiety and healing depression. We want to put ourselves first and love ourselves, but we also don't want to think too highly of ourselves, right? So here's the balance. The amount of love and protection that you have for yourself, the amount of respect that you have for yourself, is really just so you can give that same respect to others. You know, we have to love our neighbor like we love ourselves. We have to trust others like we trust ourselves. So pouring all of that love into you and doing things for your highest and greatest good is really just to trick us into being who people need us to be, because you need me and I need you. So this is about us becoming who we need to be for each other, getting what we need to be from each other, getting what we need from each other so we can go our separate ways, having gotten what we needed. It doesn't mean that, hey, you need me, I need you, so we're going to be together until we're 150. That's not what it means. You might need each other for 3 months, for 4 months, for 3 months, for 6 months, for 3 days. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how long we get to connect with people. And it's a gift and a privilege to be able to have a relationship with anybody. You know, because we could just be by ourselves in the fucking forest for the rest of our lives. You know, so it's a gift to have any kind of community. It's a blessing. And to take it a step further and want it to serve you spiritually is kind of like showing up to an open book test and you're like, you know what? I don't want the answers. And the reason I say that is because it's so much easier to just practically navigate through friendships, enjoying the ups and the downs as they come, and then just going through the friendship breakups like everybody else, because at least it keeps you happy until the end, right? And it keeps you comfortable until the end, right? But when we're stepping out of that, you know, we're approaching the friendship the first day we meet somebody like, what is this showing me? How am I supposed to learn from this? What is this supposed to be represented for me? And that means that you miss out on a lot of those, you know, ignorance is bliss moments where you're just like, you know, it's your girl. You know, for 3 months or 3 years even, or sometimes 15 years before we realize that the hat has dropped, you know, that the ball is dropped and this isn't who we thought it was. But imagine how many relationships, friendships and romantic and even familial, where we ignore the red flags, we ignore this because we just want that, right? And then at the end, when we start thinking spiritually, like, dang, I'm looking at this. When we start connecting all those dots and figuring out what does this mean? How did I get here? We remember, oh, dang. 2 months into the relationship, they said this. The same night I met them, they did this. They've been doing this their whole life, so why would I think it would be different for me? We start thinking about all that stuff at the end. And then we don't even finish. After we remove that person from our lives and we meet a couple people just like them, then we say, wait, how can I turn the mirror on me and see how I'm attracting these people? So when you are connecting with relationships with a spiritual intention, you're doing the hard work first. You're saying, hey, how you doing? What you supposed to be doing to me? What you supposed to be teaching me? When is the ball gonna drop? Let it drop tonight. I don't need 6 months of bliss before I figure out what your problem is. What you supposed to show me? What you supposed to teach me? Let me see what the symbols are supposed to be. You can come and visit me in my dreams tonight because I need to know what this is supposed to be. When you approach a relationship with that mindset and you're already breaking down those small little, you know, like little things you see here and things you see here, and you're already looking at those red flags, when you're doing that from the beginning in a relationship, it changes how the relationship goes. And it can start with the hard work and it can end with a loving release. It can start with the hard work, and as you're in the relationship, it's more hard work because it's more conversations with yourself and with this person. You know, from day one, you're maintaining a certain level of responsibility, a certain level of emotional intelligence and spiritual intelligence in the relationship. You're not ignoring what they need or ignoring what you need or just turning a blind eye and letting things be what it is. You're staying present and intentional from day one. So you're getting everything that you need to get. You're not missing anything. You're able to see this person for who they are and accept them in your life if you choose to, knowing everything about them. And as you're going through that, you're able to say, I understand why they didn't answer me because of this and this and this. I know why they did this because I know them already. Instead of feeling like, oh my God, I've been with them for 6 months. Who is this person? They already showed you who they are. But because you haven't been thinking spiritually, you've just been enjoying the practical benefits from this person. Now all the spiritual gunk is, now you're able to see like, wow, like it's been this and this, but it's also been this and this and this and this and this. So when we're able to show up first, with our spirit and our intention and our intuition turned on, we're able to navigate through these relationships in a better way. So we're able to end the relationships more peacefully instead of ending these relationships confused and just getting to the point where you can't take it anymore and they can't take it anymore. So you just have to walk away from each other. And then years down the line, you're able to get that clarity. So starting now allows you to have the opportunity to approach things differently from the beginning. And then as you go through it, you're able to kind of collect more information about who you are, more information about who they are. You'll be able to approach those challenges and those obstacles differently. So when it gets down to it, if you have to walk away from that person, you'll be able to. And you'll understand more about why you had to walk away, because you've been paying attention to the red flags and to this and to this. You've been paying attention to all of those things. So now you know how it's supposed to move forward and what doesn't work and what is supposed to be working. So yeah, guys, I guess that's basically about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this spiel about how to take a more spiritual approach to your relationships and how to get spiritual growth from your relationships. Be mindful, be present, do a lot of journaling, do a lot of prayer, do a lot of meditation, do a lot of reflection. Don't let big things happen in these friendships and connections and you don't do anything about it. You don't ask any questions. You don't look beneath the surface. Stop letting stuff happen and you hold your tongue and walk away. Speak up about what you see, speak up about what you want, speak up about what you need, so we can have this full circle moment of really being able to understand why we want what we want and why we are who we are, because there's a reason why we're asking for certain things. There's a reason why we're looking for certain things in our connections. And there's a reason why you want your energies, to serve you more spiritually. I think that sometimes our spirit knows we need to change and we want to change, but we don't really always know what that means. Just like we see shadow work and we get excited about healing like the darkest parts of ourselves. And then we get into it and we like, you know what, I'll work on this next year, It's the same thing. So just be mindful of what you're asking for when you step into it and know that it's going to challenge you. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to look at the truth of the relationship and of the person from day one. You're not going to have the ignorance is bliss energy of going throughout life for years or for months connected to somebody and not knowing what they have beneath the surface. It's going to be bold and in front of your face. And after you do that a few times, once you start meeting people, you won't even have to set the intention. It'll just start happening automatically. So it's also about changing how we approach connections overall to make sure that we're just thinking differently and that we are just, connecting with people to see who are you to me, who am I to you, who are we to each other? What business do we have here? What are we supposed to be doing here? And keeping that in mind as you're going through these conversations and interactions with them. So when we have the full circle moment of, okay, this is a purpose of us being together. This is why we can move forward. This is why we can't. It just helps you digest the lessons so much easier because from jump, you've already been paying attention to what's been going on. So yes, guys, I hope you enjoyed this message about how we can allow our relationships to serve us in more spiritual ways. Let me know how you guys felt about this message. As always, you can book sessions with me. Follow me on Instagram. Check out all of my links and then some down below in the description box. I love y'all and appreciate you guys as always. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys. Bless.